What's poppin'? It's the Alchemist of Sound and the one of
Gersh.
We're back. Go ahead.
No, yeah.
No,
That's it.
That's it. This is called For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Zonic Nexus did. He asks, what would happen if the Horus Heresy never happened, but every event happened till the present time, but the Black Crusade?
So the Horus Heresy didn't happen, but there's still Chaos Space Marines?
Yeah, that really wouldn't work.
Right.
It could work, but like warbands would be a lot smaller. Like you could say like a splinter No, what were they before? Like with the legions?
Mm-hmm.
You know how like a chapter has
1,000 Space Marines, is that what you're trying to say?
No, a chapter has companies.
Mm-hmm.
A legion had what? Did they also have companies?
Probably.
Okay, well, maybe if like a company goes off somewhere and turns traitor, like I guess there could be Chaos Space Marines. But I think once that would have happened, the Emperor right away would have tried to figure out a way to rid himself of corrupted gene seed, like Belisarius called it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Primaris Marines are uncorruptible, kinda.
So far.
And I think the Emperor would have tried to do that, so he would have invested the time for the Webway into like creating Space Marines that don't turn to Chaos.
So you're saying he would have actually completed the Webway project and then he'd focus on this, or he'd just scrap that?
I think he would. Well, actually, you're right. He would probably just continue the Webway project. And if the Webway project, I think Eldar would have been a bigger threat to the Imperium than they are now, because it seems like now that humans in Eldar seem to work a lot better than any other race. But I think if the Webway was open for the Imperium, that would cause problems with the Eldar.
So you're saying instead of, for example, nowadays, how it's Space Marines against Chaos Space Marines, if the heresy never happened, it'd be more of Space Marines versus the Eldar because of the use of the warp, or not the warp, with the Webways.
Yes, exactly.
So it'd be like more against Harlequins and Dark Eldar and all that stuff.
Yeah, more so than like Chaos. And then like Chaos incursions would still be around, but there would be more demon incursions and not so much
Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. So do you think the Eldar would go extinct because now they're facing the whole brunt of like Primarchs and Space Marines and? Yeah,
I think that they would unify a lot quicker, kind of like they unified when they formed the God Ennead.
Yeah.
And I think the Dark Eldar would have been like, yeah, we need to work with Craft World and even Exodites to push back the Imperium.
Yeah, because now they're fighting against Slanesh, the Imperium, plus everybody else.
Yeah, it would be cool though, real interesting. And I think ultimately the Eldar would somehow outsmart the Imperium and make their like astropaths, psychers, all that kind of stuff really go overboard and become more demonic. So it'd be like, instead of fighting Chaos Space Marines, it would just be like Chaos Sorcerers, Chaos Mutants, Greater Demons, stuff like that.
Interesting. Because
the Eldar would be pushing those people towards that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Just to disrupt. Next question.
1975 Steelers fan. If Sanguinius can be knocked out by a psychic backlash from losing several hundred of his sons, is it possible for the Emperor to feel the pain or death of his Primarchs, causing him pain or death?
Yep.
Kind of. I mean, when you think of it this way, it's like, how do I put it? The Emperor was using these guys as tools. His end game was to kill him off.
Yeah.
So if he feels pain from killing off his Primarchs, that's kind of what do I put it? Like, that's not like thinking ahead. That's like
thing.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh, I'm gonna use this pencil, but at the end of the day, I know eventually I'm gonna sharpen this pencil so much that it's just gonna stop, and I'll be without a tool. I don't know. It's. I don't think so. To answer your question, I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
Next question comes from Brother Argomatus. What race would be more likely to ally? to defend side by side against a possible Tyranid, Necron, or Orc invasion. We kind of set it up for us.
Yeah.
The Eldar, the Tau, and the Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
I was going to say Black Witch, but it's Black Twitch. Which Catan has the best chance to beat a Chaos God in a fight? He's got two, so we'll answer that one first. Right now, it's got to be the Void Dragon. Because based on the lore, apparently the Void Dragon had the power to create, like, metal men. And these metal men were fighting against the gods of the Eldar, and apparently there was very little that could be done to damage them. On top of this, we don't know exactly what the Void Dragon can do, we just know that he's very powerful. But since we don't know that, I'd say the next best thing would be the Nightbringer, because in the new 8th edition lore, it said that a single shard of the Nightbringer has the most power out of any single shards of any other Catans. So, Void Dragon, the Nightbringer.
Cool, I agree.
Part 2 of his question, is there a point in the lore where the Chaos Gods go to war with each other?
All the time.
Yeah, there's no time in the warp, so it's kind of hard to say when, but it's always like they're always fighting for control. It's a never-ending wheel of carnage.
Yeah, and the way that it is it's Slanesh versus Khorne. They really hate each other. And then is it Nurgle and Tzeentch, or does Tzeentch even care? I think the biggest rivalry is Khorne and Slanesh.
Khorne and Tzeentch don't like each other either, because Tzeentch sees Khorne as like a brute.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So everybody
hates Khorne.
Yeah. He's like Chris. Everybody hates Chris.
He's like Lehman Russ. Everybody fought Lehman Russ at some point. Next question comes from Jake Kingsman. Has a Kroot mercenary... Yeah. Well, has a Kroot mercenary ever worked for the Dark Eldar Cabal? We said yes.
Yeah. Check out our previous For the Greater Wall. We talk about it more in depth.
Yep. Next one.
This one is by Timothy Armstrong.
Is it the same one as before?
No.
Oh, okay.
What happens to the gene seed of a traitor legion if the traitor legions don't capture it and corrupt it?
Wait, say that again?
What happens to the gene seed of a traitor legion if the traitor legions don't capture it and corrupt it?
Oh, so a lot of the speculation is that they used traitor Primarch gene seed to create certain successor chapters, but on the hush-hush, because technically they were supposed to either be locked up or destroyed.
Right. Isn't that what happened with the Blood Ravens?
Yeah. Yep. Because there's supposed to be 1,000 Sons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next question comes from Snake Shadow 627. If Cadia was so important, then why didn't it have its own dedicated Astartes chapter? So it was extremely important, but so was every planet around the Eye of Terror. And they're called the... There's like a group of chapters that are dedicated for that region. I forget what they're called. Yeah, but they protected Cadia. So it wasn't just one chapter, it was multiple chapters. But ultimately it didn't matter. Next question comes from Melchior Philip. If an orc ate tacos, would it reproduce other orcs? What would do that? If an orc ate tacos, would it reproduce other orcs? Unless the tacos killed them. Because the orc has to die in order to release its spores. Yeah. So if it was some fire ass tacos laced with like acid. Does acid kill you? What's that drug that like you take and then you die? A bullet to the head.
I guess, I don't know. What he said?
Yeah.
Next one. Artful Dognes. In Tau Society, which caste does the current avatar come from? Earth, fire, air, or water?
Are you talking about Avatar The Last Airbender?
I don't know, I guess.
All of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you're going by, like, the show Avatar. Aang was a airbender.
Oh, really?
Korra was a waterbender. So it have to be Earth? Or no, it's fire, isn't it? Because before Aang, was it Kyoshi? I don't know.
Check out the show.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Avatar.
Next question comes from Kyle Barker Peacock.
Peacock.
Does STC stand for sexually transmitted codes? Yes. Not standard template construct? No.
No.
Next question.
This one is by the young man, the tech priest. How do you guys think the new Tau who went through the Nexus will affect the rest of the Tau Empire? Do you think that they will spread their xenophobic ways, or will the Ethereals try to either contain or change this population in some way? So, if you don't know, the Fourth Sphere expansion went out using their Star-Tide Nexus, I believe that's what it's called, and it opened up basically it opened up the warp. They got swallowed into the warp, and then they got spit out in the northern part of the universe. While they were in the warp, they got attacked by most likely Zeech demons. They don't really say, but it's kind of inferred that they're Zeech demons. However, once they popped out, when the Fifth Sphere expansion went out to basically see what was going on, they were extremely terrified of the alien auxiliaries that the Tau came with. So like Vespid, the Kroot, and whatnot. So much so that during when they were trying to capture planets, these Tau that were exposed to the warp would turn on the Kroot and fire and kill them and whatnot. And this led to a really bloody revolution between those Tau and a huge force of Kroot. So, with that being said, that kind of goes against the whole greater good aspect, because the Ethereals are trying to unite any race to the Tau in order to spread their influence and whatnot. So if they're killing off races and alien auxiliaries, that's going to impede them. So yes, I do believe that the Ethereals will either try to kill them off, or maybe just use them as put them in the front lines to kind of make sure that they die off, but they're still kind of progressing, or they're dying for the greater good or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that there's more to it. Maybe these Tau will become chaos tainted or something like that, because there's a lot of stuff that's kind of left vague, so that maybe later on in the future, the writers can
build on it. Yeah, that's cool. And those were the questions for today. Thank you for sending those questions our way. If you guys have any other questions, just comment down below.
That's right. As always, put question for your question, because we get to those questions first. And thumbs up the questions you guys want us to see.
Yes. This was Gersh1.
Sound Alchemist, and we're out of here.